Hi everyone, it's Sunday, July 12th, time for another HideNet Weekend Review. I'm Vera Dordick. So, as various regions continue to struggle for some semblance of normalcy, it was pretty much a mixed bag of reports from across the globe. In the U.S., producers have been busy, so let's start there. Actually, the previous week ended up being busier than producers initially said, so this past week was a little quieter. That said, some sellers were still fairly active and really weren't complaining. Prices were again mainly steady. We've noted for weeks that oddly enough, a few selections here and there have seen some minor gains. Of course, even producers have pointed out that on some selections there can be a variance of up to $4 in price depending on the plant the hides are coming from and the customer. So looking at sales of regular weight heavy Texas steers, prices were actually reported higher this week, with sellers saying that they got as much as $18 for 64 pounds. Export sales for the holiday week, ending July 2nd, were up actually for 46%, coming in at 663,400. Again, China was a big buyer, but Mexico logged nearly a record number of rawhide sales for the week. But as is the case with most things these days, there's reportedly more than meets the eye with regard to that large total because of some delayed reporting that is supposedly making up a good deal of that number. In a spot of better news, combined shipments were up again this week, better by 16% at 563,600. Total slaughter through yesterday, which was Saturday the 11th, was an estimated 664,000. Turning to Europe, editor Andrea Guolo reports that little changed during the week and there's still some confusion over prices. Moreover, July is typically the time when Italian tanneries are preparing for their August holidays, but this year's activities will continue to be driven by orders, so we will have to see what develops with regard to that. In the European cow market, the situation is fairly balanced at the moment, with prices generally stable. Northern German cows, which had seen their prices slowly eroding, have leveled off at their lowest prices. With regard to British and Irish ox, prices managed to remain unchanged thanks to some unique circumstances that let sellers decline lower bids. So the 36 plus British ox is still 65 cents in sterling, and in Ireland the price is still at 60 cents in euros. After last week's big drop for some origins among bulls, prices stabilized this week, but that doesn't mean that there isn't confusion in the market because of the automotive sector. With regard to German bulls, they remain steady at 60 cents in euros per kilo. In his analysis this week, Andrea takes a closer look at what's going on with the origins and actually with the prices being the way they are. From South America, editor Ronald Guiel reports from Brazil that slaughter remains low still, so even though demand is poor, the price of fresh hides is holding steady at 48 cents in reals per kilo. Consequently, the best grades of wet blue are very firm, and TR1 was still at 50 cents per square foot. The major news from Brazil was the export numbers for June and the first half of 2020, both of which declined significantly. For June alone, the total of hides and skins exports was down by 47% compared to June 2019, and that's in terms of value. And for the year, the total was down nearly 30%. We have the CICB's full report on those for you in this week's report. Among other news from Latin America, Argentina's production of textiles, leather, and footwear was down 57.2% in May. Guanajuato's footwear industry is looking into doing some investing with China, and Uruguay's leather exports continue to plummet. So that's all we have for this week, and until next week, good night from HideNet.